76 years, 6 terminals are all going out of business. Why? Because of the economy. That's really why, because Canadian trucking companies are struggling. They're finding it extremely hard. Let's get into the details. Canadian trucking company McKevitt Trucking has shut down its operations after 76 years in business. The closure was communicated with drivers 3 weeks prior. I actually knew about this closure about 2 weeks ago. The reason I knew about it is because a couple of their customers had reached out to ET Transport, letting us know that the carrier that they've been using, now one of the customers that we were able to onboard was actually using McKevitt Trucking for about 20 years they were with them. So I did know the news about a couple of weeks ago. I just didn't want to be the one to make it public news. I thought that this would be a better way to hear about it. Now, McKevitt Trucking was founded in 1948. McKevitt grew from a single truck to 165 power units and 450 trailers handling a range of freight. Now, how do I know that these numbers are correct? Because 450 trailers, the customer that we were able to onboard is a customer that required, I think, a 3-to-1 ratio between drop trailers to actual loads. So definitely requiring a lot of staged trailers. Their terminals in Thunder Bay, Sault Ste. Marie, Timmins, Sudbury, North Bay, and Mississauga are all closing down. So their safety record was actually just fine. It was probably around the industry standard. I mean, I've heard about this company. I mean, forever I knew them. Knew their trucks, knew their logo. They've been on the highways forever. And it's really sad to hear that these Canadian trucking companies or any trucking company is going under. Why are Canadian trucking companies struggling so much? Well, number one, I would say the biggest problem right now, today in the month of November, would be the inbound freight, not so much the outbound freight. So any loads going from Canada into the US, there's an abundance of loads going from Canada to the US right now. The biggest problem is the inbound freight, so the US into the Canadian market. And that's where a lot of the Canadian companies are struggling, and they're definitely taking a hit on the inbound rates. I mean, a few examples is, Atlanta, Georgia to Toronto or Chicago to Toronto. I mean, people used to fight over our trucks. Today when we post it, we're fighting over work. So it's like whenever a broker posts a load, we're all fighting for those loads. And if you're not gonna fight and if you're not gonna take those loads, well, you're gonna be laid over to the next day. So Canadian carriers are not allowed to pick up in the US and deliver into the US. We can only pick up freight in the US and deliver it in Canada. A lot of the Canadian carriers, I think, are extremely happy that Trump has won the elections, and we definitely feel and believe that he's going to shake up the American economy, and it will be good for the Canadian market, it will be good for the American market, and it'll definitely be good for trucking. How long will it actually take for us to see the effects of the Trump presidency? I don't think it's going to be overnight. We're definitely looking into the Q1 and Q2 of next year. I mean, obviously with interest rates coming down, or that are going to come down even more, and also with the fuel prices are significantly supposed to come down over the next 6 months, especially with the Trump presidency, we're going to have much better days ahead. Now, I am going to do a separate video on 10 things that the Trump presidency is going to change in the trucking industry. I know I am a Canadian. Everything that happens in the US definitely affects us Canadian trucking companies, and the trade between Canada and the US, we're very much dependent on it. Not just me, but thousands of trucking companies are dependent on the trade between Canada and the US and US to Canada. Make sure you're following this channel. I'm Ronan, and I'll catch you in the next one.